Hello, everyone. Hope you're all doing well. So we have Hussein Lightwala or Litwala. I hope I didn't butcher that name. Can you guys hear me okay? Maybe I should put this a little closer to me, possibly, if I can. Let's see. Okay. Is it good now? Can you guys hear me okay? Give me a feedback, please. Is it all right? Does it sound okay? All right, we have Hussein. Says, hello, sir. 19 male India. How are you? Thank you, Hussein. Hope you're doing well as well. Aman is here. 20 male India. So Hussein says yes. Aman says, yep, I can hear. I know you can hear, but how is the quality? Is the quality of sound okay? Is it good? Or is it clear, crisp? Because every time I have this good microphone, it doesn't seem to be as good as the actual laptop's um, microphone, which is not right. Let me shut this thing off. Quality is nice. Okay, good. So Aman, seems like Aman, you are rather caring about lots of little things in your life. And he says, I have a friend who acted rudely in public with me and didn't help me, but talked good with me in phone like fake niceness. I want to confront him. I know I have all right reasons to confront, but I feel fear or less manly due to low self courage or belief on me. First of all, if the guy was rude, that's a reflection on him, and that tells you what kind of friend he is, that he doesn't have enough manner and is being rude in public, which means he has certain kind of a anxiety and fear and wants to prove that he is, macho. So he does that in front of people to get some kind of a credit because he doesn't have enough confidence. If there was something that was bothering him or something that was different between the two, he should have maybe talked to you in private about the issue, not try to win a point with people's opinion by pretending that, oh, I'm a, you know, whatever. Now, on the other hand, you keep saying these things and you begin to believe it, that I feel fear or less manly due to, see, you're now justifying it. First, you make an observation. Then, instead of coming up with how you can fix it, if that's really how you feel, you come up with the justification due to low self courage or belief in me. Who's going to bring that? You and your actions. So, if you want to confront him, it's not necessary, but confront him. See what happens. See what happens. You can control the conversation so it doesn't happen any further than you want it to happen, but it will prove to you that you can do what you want to do, and there is no issue with your courage, because courage is something that you can train yourself. People don't grow up or are not born with courage. They see things, they get inspired, they learn it, they train it, and it becomes part of their character that they have courage. They see the right from wrong and they prefer to do the right than wrong, and that takes courage. And they keep doing that, and that becomes their character. So if you think that is something that you need to work on, then don't justify it by saying, due to this is the reason. So as long as there is a reason, then it's legitimate. I can't do anything about it because there is a reason. No. If you think actually low self courage, you say, then go ahead and properly address the matter with your friend. And doesn't matter what happens, you know that you can do it. So the courage will go up. You're no longer afraid of it, because what happens? What do you think happens? The guy's gonna what? Slap you in the face, you slap him back. What happens? Nobody's gonna die. Or you're afraid that he's gonna yell, then you yell. See how it feels. It's the way you train yourself. You don't have to get into a fight with the guy physically, but if you want to address something, you want to talk to the guy, says, listen, let's talk about something here. I didn't like the way you behaved with me that day. That was rude. If there's a problem between us, you can talk to me in private. You don't have to try to embarrass me or become macho in front of the people. What, you want their vote? Is that how you feel good about yourself? Or you're looking for the truth in friends' relationships? So don't do this sort of stuff. I don't like it. If he says the hell with you, says the hell with you. If he tries to hit you, you try to hit him. Nothing happens. But what happens is not about you winning or losing. You get two punches, you will draw, you throw one punch. Doesn't matter if you lose or win. What happens is that you will understand you can do it. There is no fear. What happens? Who's he? You defend yourself. You have the right to do that. It's not about the guy is reasonable or not, you're right civilly or not. Yeah, you're right. But you also have to see if that person has the capacity to be spoken to about this matter or not at all. Just ignore and go away and go by your way and stop being friends with him if he's that kind of an idiot. But before you do that, you can try it. Tell him what I told you. I don't like the way you behave in front of people. Are we not friends? Friends don't behave that way. So you can simply say, good friends don't behave with each other that way in front of people. Don't try to put each other down. If you have a problem, you come and talk to me as friends. But when you do it in front of people, that means you have some shortcomings. You're scared of something. What are you scared of? Why you want their opinion that you're a big man? What, you want us to actually physically fight in front of people, make fool out of ourselves? So it is important for you to behave properly. If you want to talk to me, talk to me. And if the guy understands, says, look, yeah, you're right, I'm sorry, well, that's the end of it. But you did express yourself without being afraid. Next time, you won't be afraid. It's discussion. If the guy says, no, the hell with you, so well, the hell with you. You're just not a sort of person that I thought you are. He says, oh, fuck you. So let fuck you. He tries to, punch you. You get a guard too. Don't back down. This is how you train yourself. Now, if the guy is, much bigger than you and tries to punch you, well, you got to be fast. Get out of the way. My encouragement is not for you to get into a fight with the guy, but my encouragement is that you got to say what you want to say and control the rhythm of the conversation so it won't get too far, but you express your view about his behavior and see if he's a real good friend or not. If he wants to understand it or just wants to be an asshole. All right. Anonymous says, hi, sir. Hello, Anonymous. He says, hi, sir. Is sexual fluidity myth? Yeah, there's no such thing, fluidity. I waited for your stream for so long. Yeah, well, okay. Look, we are human beings. We are born in one way or another. What do you mean fluidity? What? What? Morning you're a man, in the afternoon you're a woman. It's a mental issue. You got to talk. They got somebody who feels that way. You got to talk to a psychologist and figure out, how to deal with this. In my opinion, and many psychologists, I mean, fluidity is no different than saying this banana is a tomato sometimes, and sometimes cucumber, sometimes banana and watermelon and pear. What the hell does that mean? All right. Um, Prithu Barwa says, can you give some tips for becoming unmoved by emotions in daily life? Unmoved? What are you, cockroach? Or what? A rock? A piece of sand? What do you mean, tips to become unmoved by emotions in there? We are human beings. We have emotions. Everything is about emotions. Why do you want to be unmoved? You get moved, but you be able to understand the move and don't be affected by the move more than you should, because every emotion affects you. And that's what the emotions are. Sensories come to the picture, and it's like saying, give me a tip so if I smell a nice smell of coffee, I won't be moved. Well, you're going to feel like, nice tea, I want to have tea. Or where's the smell coming from? Or a cookie or something. Or emotion of something makes you angry. I don't want to get angry. Somebody, I don't know, did something or stole my thing or said something about my mother. So I don't want to get angry. Well, you can choose not to be angry, but you will have an emotion. Now, what you do after you feel that emotion, that's where you want to go. So I feel the emotion, I'm angry, but I'm not going to act on it because that's my choice. Hmm? It's no different how easily you guys control yourselves and your emotions when you see some situation where there's a real asshole, much bigger than you, and seems like he's got, I don't know, some kind of a weapon in his hand, and he says some shit, and you get really angry, but you can see the situation. This is not a winnable situation. You're at a disadvantage. The guy is trained, bigger, asshole, got a weapon. So even though you're emotionally affected and that's brought anger into your eyes, you control that and you don't act on the anger. That's what you want to know. You will feel the emotion, but what am I going to react in light of this emotion? That's where you want to be in control. Because you're going to feel it no matter what. Hmm. Hussein says, my question is on up. Oh, is that okay? Oh, here it is. Hussein says, sir, what is your advice for people like my age? What should have to be our first priority? Means what things we have to focus more. What is your age? Let me see. 19, huh? Yeah. Well, right now, obviously, you can see the world. There are certain things that you got to have in this world to make your life as comfortable as you can make it for yourself and for your families. The good news is that you're young and you have time to start building your life. How do you build a building? Just because you want to build it, you go build it? No. You got to have the knowledge to know how to build that building correctly, how to construct that building correctly, legally, technically, and all of that. Engineering, architecture. So, what do you have to do? You have to get that knowledge, whatever it is that you do. So, you can sit down and figure out what is it that you want to do in life that you like to do, and you think that it can make you good money, so it can bring you a good, comfortable life. And for future, if you decided to have family, then you will have a possibility to support them. Something that makes money and something that you like to do. So, whatever it will be, you would have to gain the education and expertise in that. So, you'll go and educate yourself for that field. Now, if you don't know what is going to be that you want to do at the moment, then at least start the foundation. Foundation of anything you want to do in this world is certain amount of education, at least a general education to be wise enough to know how to get information, how to study, how to learn something that you don't know. You don't have to exactly study what you want to be doing in life in school, but you can get a general education to have certain kind of a ticket that you can use that to have doors open for you. If that ticket means university education, then go get a university education. If you're an entrepreneur and you know what you want to do and you don't think you need the university education because you're really skillful in something, well, that's a different story. You can do that too. But if you don't have that skill and if you don't know really what it is that you're really good at, is it sports? Is it arts? Is it drawing? Is it architecture? Is it engineering? If you don't know it, then go to school and finish your education in some field that interests you. Later on, you will know what kind of a job you want to do that becomes apparent to you. And then you will do that for your life. Right now, school is like you're choosing a kind of job without the job itself, but you're choosing the kind of topics that may interest you. So look at the registrar's list. What courses, what field that you're more interested of all these things that they teach in that university. You choose what you're interested in, then you become good at what you're interested in. Don't choose something that you're not interested in because then you won't get a good grade because you're not interested and you think you're stupid, but you're not. You just didn't like it. So try as much as possible, get the courses that you like. Then you'll do good in them and you become expert in that field, whatever it is. Then you may actually find it easy to make money off of because you really got it, because you were interested. So you learned it good. Whatever you're interested, it'll be easy to learn because you like it. Whatever is difficult, you don't like it, it'll be a chore to do it, no matter how important it is. So find something that you like to do, study that field, become good at it, and go get a job or go open your own business, depending on what the situation would be. But at this point, at this age, you need to pick up the things that will help you to build a foundation, regardless of what you want to do in the future. And that would be a general education. That's what I think right now. And then through your university, you will have maybe some jobs, part-time jobs here and there, or you will research and find out what you're interested in. A little bit older you get, by the time you finish university, you have gotten to know yourself more. You've gotten to know what opportunities are there, which one you would be more interested in, what kind of money you can make in it. And that information will come to you. And based on that, you make a decision what kind of job you want to pursue in your life. All right. Tanmay Raju says, hello, Miran. Sir, I am suffering from HOCD. Please help me with tips. I came across a video and stressed about it and keep reassuring. Well, Tambi, HOCD is pretty much no different than some kind of a disorder that you may find in your body. For example, your knee hurts, or your elbow hurts, or you got a cold. Well, you got to do certain things to help it to heal. Now, HOCD is some kind of a disorder in the brain, and it's got nothing to do with you, but you suffer it because the brain happened to be mounted on your head. And somehow somebody sold us the bill in life that the brain is me. Whatever brain says, it's me. That's bullshit. Brain is totally a separate system. It's got nothing to do with you. Brain makes 80, 90,000 thoughts a day. It's a thought manufacturing plant, a factory. But it's an organ. It works for you. You don't work for it. So when it conjures up shit, you're not supposed to believe that that's you because Brain doesn't represent you. Brain is an organ like your intestine, like your liver, like your kidney. It has a job to do. It does that job. But if you think that organ is you, then when you get a diarrhea in your intestine, you should think, well, that's a normal thing for me. I just never knew it. No, you're clear that this is a biological malfunction, and I know diarrhea is not normal for me. At least I don't enjoy it. Therefore, I gotta help it to heal. So you get some, I don't know, yogurt and rice and simple eating, and you regain the balance that it is for you for your intestine. Now, brain also malfunctions. But the thing is, we've been duped to think because it can do math or solve things, we think it's intellect. Brain has no intellect. Brain is not smart. Brain is a mechanical machine. It's a material process. A bunch of neurons and so on, not mechanical machine, but it creates thoughts. It manufactures thoughts based on the information that has found its way into your consciousness. Whatever information that is available in the world, we become aware of it. And the brain picks it up and makes thoughts. And it doesn't know really what it does. It guesses things. You know? And then, because brain doesn't find its security through physical environment, just like your body does, your body finds security through physical environment. Like I'm sitting here having my tea, and nobody's beating me up here. My arms are here, my hand, my limbs. It looks physically, the environment is safe. My apartment door is locked. I'm in good part of town. So physicality brings safety to my body, my physical entity. But the brain doesn't find its security the way our body finds its security in a physical environment. Brain finds insecurity in order of things and in occupation, in being busy. And can brain become occupied and busy if it compliments you? It says, oh, you're a great heterosexual. And if, that's what you are. Because HOCD hits heterosexuals and homosexuals alike. It hits sexual orientation disorder. That's what it is. Obsessive compulsive disorder in the sexual orientation. So if you're heterosexual, the brain, if it makes a comment about, oh, you're a heterosexual and all these girls, go for you and you love girls, you say, oh, yeah, thank you. That's the end of the conversation. Brain doesn't get busy or occupied by that comment. But if it wants to get occupied, it needs to create some kind of a fear or an anger or some kind of um, anxiety in you. What then? It calls your mother a whore, or calls you something that you're not. If you're homosexual, calls you heterosexual. If you're heterosexual, calls you homosexual. Then you rise to defend your being, your entity, your identity, and you say, how dare you talk about my mother like that? If it was a friend saying, if the friend says something about, oh, your mom is such a lady, it was very nice to meet her. You say, oh, thank you, good, I'll tell her. That's the end of it. But if the friend says something nasty about your mom, you get up, you start fighting, you go back and forth, say shit about him and his mother, and so on and so forth. It goes back and forth, and this continues. That energy exchange in a negative way continues. Same thing with the brain. Brain wants you to get engaged in exchange energy and be upset so it can be engaged in an interaction with you to create something that it would keep the brain occupied and busy. How can you do that? Can't give you a compliment. Oh, you're a handsome man. All girls like you and you love girls. That's the end of the conversation. You say, yeah, thank you. But if it says you're something that you're not, you go all out. How dare you say about that? All my life I liked girls, this and that, so forth. I'm like this, I'm like that. This conversation gets heated. You get angry, go back and forth, trying to prove to an organ what you are. That's as stupid as it gets that we don't realize. We try to prove to the brain, which is an organ of ours, that I am this, I'm that I have to get its approval to agree with me before I can settle down. Instead of saying, well, if you're an organ, what do you know about me? So I ignore it because I realize it's an intrusive thought. It's a negative thought. It's a bad thought about me, towards me. considering what my gender is. So I simply recognize it, that it's not me, it's the brain saying that. It's not me, it's HOCD saying that. And then I ignore it, go about my business. In this way, the brain learns that it can't create that kind of occupation by saying shit about me. And if it keeps doing it and I keep ignoring it, by recognizing that it's intrusive thought, by calling it for what it is, that's HOCD, it's not me, it's the brain, it's not me, and then focus on my business. I do that a million times. If million times the brain interjects and brings about these sort of thoughts. And the brain gets conditioned that this is not what this person entertains. And then starts showing up less of these intrusive thoughts and eventually no more. And if it ever did, you know exactly what it is, how to manage it. That's how you train, retrain, rewire the brain. It's called neuroplasticity, by the way that you behave with the production of the brain. So, occupation is its mandate, it's trying to create busyness. That's why it comes up with things that will bother you. And of course, I've got many videos on this topic. And in the two playlists that I have on HOCD, you'll also have links of famous psychologists such as Dr. Philipson, Dr. Jan Rayner, Dr. Schwartz, and they have their own videos. The links are there, and other therapists that I have listed there. So you can watch them and educate yourself about what HOCD is, so you won't be bamboozled thinking that, oh, my gender is changing. Oh, the brain says this and that I'm that. No, that's all needs to be understood, and understand that this is a glitch and a malfunction of the signaling system of the brain, among other reasons that it could have with anxiety and the role of amygdala and prefrontal cortex and the caudate nucleus in the striatum, in the basal ganglia. All these show you the education that you need to see why this malfunction is happening and how you can treat it by rewiring your brain. All right, that was short of the long, but there are many, many videos that we have on this topic. How's the quality of the sound, guys? Let me know if it's not good. I hope it's all right. Of course. Anonymous says, can a person with OCD become psychologist? Yeah, in fact, it's very recommendable if someone has OCD or any substance of OCD to pursue the field of psychology, because he can become a specialist in OCD because he had it himself. He knows exactly what's going on. I had OCD of all kinds all my life since childhood. You know, touch the light switch 50 million times, or my father might die or something, or go over that the four corners of the tile when I'm walking, do something, wash my hands more than God knows how many times, check the oven or check the door. All kind of craziness I did. But and then so many other kinds. But that's why I understand it. And through knowledge and understanding and research, I understand the movement of the psyche and the role of the psyche, role of thoughts, consciousness, fear, desire, ego, role of anxiety, role of amygdala, role of prefrontal cortex, role of all these mechanisms in the brain, and their roles and how they actually affect each other and where the malfunctions come from, and so on and so forth. So, of course, you can become a psychologist. You can become anything you want, anything you put your mind to it. This is, I really like to study about brain and behavior, but I have OCD and I'm in fear of, if I read about other OCD, I may get it. No, when you know where OCD comes from, then you actually disqualify this whole business for OCD, and it helps you not to get it because you become aware of what is happening, and you don't take what is happening as you or as necessary or as credible, because the jig is up for the brain and it opens it up for you that these are the malfunctions and these have the roots, this kind of root, that kind of root, and that's why you keep turning the switch on, that's why you keep washing your hand, that's what all these obsessions and compulsions and so on, and leads to, when there's an obsession, you do a compulsion for it. And when you do the compulsion, you feel good. When you feel good, there's dopamine secreted in your brain. So every time you do a compulsion for an obsession, there's also a dopamine secretes and you feel good. Dopamine tells you feel good. And then after a while, you're not just doing the compulsion because of the obsession. You're actually doing the compulsion to get the dopamine because now you're addicted to dopamine. And then 1,000 times later, when you keep doing it and get the dopamine, get dopamine. After a while, you're no longer doing the compulsion for the obsession or the dopamine even. You're doing it because it becomes your habit. The habit center and the reward center, they're right on top of each other in a striatum. So when you keep getting a reward by doing the compulsion and getting dopamine, that's the reward, it also affects and trains, prepares, grooms the habit center. And before you know it, you have a habit of doing it and you don't even remember why you're doing the damn thing. It's just a habit. You don't even think about OCD. You're just doing it. And then psychologists recommend that you got to now connect this habit to what it does to your health in order to jolt you out, and you have good enough reasons to get out of the habit because you can see it's detrimental to your health. So they have studied, and the research shows that whenever a habit is connected to its negative effects on the health of a person, that person will be more motivated to get rid of that habit. For example, they have figured out that when a person smokes cigarette, after a while, a person who just bought a pack of cigarette opens the cellophane wrap, tore up a part of the package, pulled one cigarette stick, death stick, put it in his mouth, and flicked the lighter and with fire, kept the fire 2 inches away from his mouth, his face. When you just ask him, sir, are you aware that you just did this, and ended up having a fire close to your face? He says, no, I only know that I'm smoking. That is based on the study, a researcher, Dr. Grable from MIT, through her postgraduate student research, Kyle Smith. She is the pioneer of proving that one action could also be comprised of bunch of action but considered one action in the brain. And it was cluster of actions could represent as one. That's why this buying the cigarette, opening it up, tearing it apart, picking one, putting your lips and flicking fire in front of it. So many actions, cluster of these actions, but to the person who does it and is in habit, just understands this and considers it as one. So that whole business of not knowing is because it's a habit of the person that he thinks is only smoking cigarette rather than all these actions. And the way they can get him to be motivated to get rid of this habit is only when they connect the smoking cigarette to the detriment to his health. And that encourages, because they also studied that there's a place where they actually engage that part of the brain that is related to health. It can actually reverse the habit and stop the habit. But it can get triggered and come back again. But as long as they know what to do, they can be successful in getting rid of that habit. That's why it is important in OCD that you try to get rid of that before it becomes a habit, because then it becomes more difficult to get rid of it. All right. Anonymous is very common. Very common. All right. Let's see what else we have here. Tan Mei says it's very good, the quality of sound. Okay, great. And Anwesha Bardham says, I'm getting married in 2 days. Ah, congratulations. And today I had a thought of marrying another guy. Oops. And felt willingness then to neutralize it. I imagined the same scene about my partner, and I didn't find him as attractive. I felt unwillingness to marry him. My hand and legs were literally shaking. I hope, but I have severe ROCD, relationship OCD. But look, you're not marrying someone necessarily because of their looks or how handsome he is. You girls at least are wiser than us boys and us men. We're very visual. She's pretty. We're kind of lost until something happens and we come to ourselves. So, what the shit? This is a bad choice, no matter how pretty she is. But before that happens, we may actually not see um, the character of the woman and be fully focused on her body and looks and so on. But you girls are more sophisticated and wiser than us. You know that the looks is not what keeps the relationship together. A good look of a woman or a handsome man may be some kind of an invitation to encourage or invite each other to get to know that person. But if you don't bond on consciousness level, that relationship is not going to last because both of you or one of you is handsome or good looking. That becomes normal after a while, that handsomeness of your man or the prettiness of the woman. If it doesn't, if it's not being backed up by proper behavior, manners, morals, and treatment of each other and characteristics, it won't last. Because if it did, many of the actors and actresses around the world are very handsome, very beautiful, and they get married. Both the woman is pretty and the man is handsome. So they get married. Why do they get divorced then if they're both handsome and pretty? Because it's not the looks that keeps the relationship together. It's the manners and morals and bonding on consciousness level and values and unselfishness, how to you treat each other, how responsible you are, and so on and so forth. And how eager you are to work together and build a life. That's what keeps the relationship together. So now you stop thinking about which one is handsome and start thinking about which one has got a better character, more reliable, and someone who is more responsible and treats you better, respects you, loves you, and wants to take care of a family, wants to build a family, and which one is just an idiot. Hmm? That's how you will have a better chance for a better relationship if you have a better standards of selection rather than just the visible or shallow parts. P. Irlo says, Dear Miran, I'm 36 from Australia. Was dating a girl 27. Okay. And says, from very conservative, I was dating a girl 27 from a very conservative Armenian family. Oh, I see. What about you? Where are you originally from? Like, what is your nationality, where you were born, mom and dad come from? And so this says, I'm 36, male, was dating a girl 27 from a very conservative Armenian family. She ended up rejecting me, suddenly changed her behavior from humble, submissive, and conservative girl. Could you please explain to me what's going on in her brain? Cheers from Australia. Well, obviously, either herself is thinking that maybe the standards that she had set for herself or the characteristics that she was looking in you, not necessarily in manners, but maybe provisions. Maybe she was thinking you're going to be very wealthy, or you are. Maybe she saw that maybe there's maybe another chance somewhere else. Somebody else maybe has maybe more money, or has more of a votes of her parents. Maybe they want someone like themselves, conservative, or many families don't look at the relationship of the daughter with somebody else as a relationship. They look at it as a way they can prove themselves to the people who are in their circle, as see, our daughter has married such and such. And if such and such has a good reputation, or comes from a family that is kind of well known among the circle, then they say, see, we are just as high end as they are. So all, of course, garbage, but that's what could be going through the minds or the heads of that family, who have been maybe trying to tell her all these things about he's not the same as us. We want to go to church and he wants to go to mosque. I don't know what your background is, but I'm just spitballing here, guessing, because you haven't told me that. And so she has now made up her mind that she doesn't want to be with you. And suddenly, when they want to be with you, they're submissive. They are very willing for anything goes. You can pretty much suggest anything, and they would be, uh, you know, um, in compliance, and they would be willing to be a partner in that project, whatever it may be, whatever activity it may be. But once they make up their mind, they see that no, maybe for some reason they're not going to get what they thought they will get, or they just don't think they measure up, and that maybe as conservative as she is, but maybe your standards are higher and she can't measure up, and perhaps she sees that she can't dominate you, and you have expectations that she can't hold that expectations all the time, maybe for a while, just to bamboozle you and make you feel interested. Eventually, if she sees she can't do any of that, then she'll change her mind. When she changes her mind, then she's not going to comply with all the things that she used to comply, because now she knows that she was complying and behaving the way she did because she was after something to get a result. Now that she doesn't want that result, then she's not going to do the things that she thought she can use to dupe you to think that she's, oh, I'm so amazing. She's not being herself. And you got to decide if this is actually a bad day for you or a blessing day, that you actually see her real self by having this switch. How could you how could you rely on a person that switches like that? That means from the beginning she had certain kind of ulterior motive. And when she came to kind of a maybe conclusion that she won't be able to have what she had planned, then she switched to how she's really been. But you didn't know, because you were infatuated with all the submissiveness and all the service and all the attention she was giving you. So the bottom line is, who cares what she has, what she's got going in her brain? Don't try to convince her. She has an opportunity and you're the opportunity. And you have an opportunity, she's the opportunity. You wanted her the way she was. She's no longer the way she was. Then why do you want her then? If that's the girl you wanted when she was the way she was before she switched and changed, then why would you still think she's of any viable alternative or choice if she's no longer the way she used to be and she doesn't carry the characteristics that you expected? Why do you want her? It doesn't matter what made her change her mind. The fact is, she changed her mind, meaning she's not the person that you liked, because she's not behaving in such a way that it was in line with your values. So, therefore, it doesn't matter what's going on in her mind. Stop trying to convince her. You probably asked her, hey, what's happening? If she opened up and said something, well, then you know what's happening. If she's not saying something, that means there's nothing has to do with you. She has figured out maybe a better deal somewhere else, or she feels that she can't measure up, and she's not going to be able to meet with your standards, and she better free herself right now, because she can't keep up that charade. So I hope that's helpful to you. Ah, you're Armenian too. I see. Oh, yeah. Okay. It's all about their image that they have created in that family, and they have now somehow put her in her head. And if she's that stupid that she allows the decisions that she should be making be made by her family, if that's the case, well, she got to go anyhow. Let her go. Let her go with this whole label that you have put, which they encouraged you to learn that they're conservative and it's supposed to mean something. Well, maybe you're not conservative enough. Maybe they are just putting up a front. Maybe they have got other plans. It doesn't matter. What matters is she's no longer qualified by you. In other words, she's disqualified. So you got to move on and find a better arrangement for yourself, better candidate. Aman says, I'm getting a job and will get settled. Just as experimental question, I'm 20 right now. What if I try to get married by 23? Then you know that if you get married by age 23, provided if the borders and flights are open, you will be having a visit from my ugly stick because you've got no business getting married at age 23. What the hell is that? You hardly know where is up, where is down as far as being able to have a job and provide for yourself, rent a place, feed yourself. What do you want to do? When you get married and take care to your parents' home? Is that maybe that's a tradition there? That's a different story. But getting married as age 23, I don't know if that's the tradition there. That's something else. But 23, you hardly know yourself. You know, at age 23, boys and girls hardly know. What job, what kind of life. What kind of a girl they want, or what kind of a characteristics they expect her to have, and she doesn't know what kind of man is. It's just too early. She doesn't know what kind of man she wants. So I don't think that's a good idea. You first finish your university if that's where you are, or get a job and find that job to be stable and advance in it. Once you have enough money, then pretty much any girl you want will have a better way of looking at things with you. At least you'll be more qualified in the eyes of many of the women, because one of the number one things that the women want is to be with someone who can provide. Life is not easy. And the ones who think or pretend that, oh, nothing matters and money doesn't matter, are full of shit. They eventually prefer, and if they don't, they'll go and learn it in the hard way, that if they themselves cannot provide for themselves, and if their man is not equipped to provide for the both of them, for the family, that's not going to be an easy journey. So don't fall for that. Go equip yourself with knowledge, get a job, advance in it, have enough money, and then think about getting married or whatever. For now, I get a girlfriend. That's enough. And Rob Class, I don't know if I'm pronouncing. These are names, real names, or maybe there's uh, I don't know, screen names. I'm not sure. It says greets from Belgium. Oh, bonsoir or bonjour in your case. Soir here. Says thanks for helping me find myself 2 years ago. Forever grateful. Well, you're quite welcome. Let me know your age, and I guess that's it. I'm delighted that you've been helped, and you're good. And Wesha says, yes, I know my fiance is great, and we have been in a relationship for 14 years. Our OCD started few months ago. I know looks don't matter. I just want the intrusive thoughts to go. make me feel shallow. Look, intrusive thoughts may or may not go, but you cannot stop your life with the fucking intrusive thoughts. Intrusive thoughts are not your fault. They're not you. They can't affect you. They're just thoughts. But how you react to thought is the problem of the thought. Thought itself has no power, is nothing. Bunch of neurons get together, create certain kind of a words, an image or thought or an idea, and then you react to believing that idea is an actuality. That's where the whole fuck up takes place. Just don't believe the thoughts. Brain has no capability, has no credibility whatsoever. So what it conjures up is nonsense. But you fall for it because it happened to be in the screen of your head. And you have credibility. And the head is mounted on top of you. And you think, therefore, the brain has credibility. It doesn't. It's an organ. It happened to be here. But cannot use the credibility that you have for you just because that is mounted on top of your head. Don't. Understand that all these OCD subsets have no credibility, have no actuality. They're illusions. If you don't believe them, they can't do shit to you. They don't do anything to you. Your reaction to the thought, to the meaning of what the thought represents, what the thought is perceived, is what gets you in trouble and paralyzes your life. Don't react to them. The hell with them. They're nothing. They're wind. They're dust in the wind. Let them pass by. Don't grab and hold them to see what they are. No, it's a dust in the wind. Let it go. And it will go. When you don't pay attention, that means when you don't disturb their travel and try to figure out what it is and pay attention to them and investigate them, they will be going and dissipate. They come and go, come and go. Don't be bamboozled by trying to dissect the thought. Thought has no existence, has no reality. But when it comes, shows up here, you believe it. And that belief makes them to seem as if they have reality. But in actuality, they have no reality because they're virtuality. Virtuality has no actuality. But your actuality gives the virtuality plus belief, then makes it an actuality. Then you act on it. And that reaction is what fucks you up. And it becomes an evidence that that idea is actual. Why? Because I reacted to it. Well, don't react to it. It dies. It has no life. Don't give it a life by your attention to it. You ignore it. Everything you ignore, it dies. Even plants. If you have the same kind of plant, this side of the room and the other side of the room, same amount of sunshine, same kind of water you feed them, same kind of food you give them, same kind of plants, two different sides of the room. To one of them, you water them, say, I love you, you look so beautiful, your leaves are so shiny, wonderful to see you, what a sunshine there is. The other one, you just water, the same food, the same everything you give to this one, but say nothing. Water and go. This lack of energy and exchange and attention to that plant, it feels it and dies because there's no love. There is no attention. There is no energy exchange. It feels it. Anything you don't pay attention, they don't exist. Ideas, thoughts, images, same. They show up. Just because they showed up doesn't mean that you should be paying attention to them. So many things are available in the world. Well, we don't pay attention to all of them, do we? We just choose and select. Same thing. It's intrusive. Don't pay attention to it. That lack of attention, it dissipates it, kills it. Because it needs your input in order to stay afloat. If you don't, it drowns. It can't hold itself up. It dissipates. Gone. It is your power that gives visibility and certain kind of a existent or any capability to an idea. It's your attention that gives visibility to it. Don't give that. Don't give that energy exchange. It will dissipate and die. Poof. because on its own, it has no actuality. Just an idea. Your brain, though, out of fear and anxiety, it tries to entertain every kind of shit so it won't happen. Sometimes you feel like, oh, I'm afraid of falling from the cliff. So let me jump so I won't be afraid of falling. That's pretty much the story of OCD. So that's why you keep doing and pay attention to it. Don't. All right. Mm. Zane says, hey, sir. Hey, Zane. Where's the credential, Zane? Gender, age, where are you tuning in from? So sorry, I'm late for the live. It's not a school. You can be as late as you want. I just had a curiosity that did ever came across any mental issues when you were young? Sorry, sir, it's just my curiosity. Please don't mind me. I don't understand what the question is. Forget that. Forget minding you. I don't know what it means. It says, I just had a curiosity that did ever came across any mental issues when you were young? Yeah, I had OCD all my life. That's mental issue, isn't it? Yeah, of course I wouldn't know what it was. I just something I feel I gotta do to make sure nothing bad happens. If I don't do it, maybe something bad happens. These sort of superstitious OCD. But they were OCD, I just didn't know them, yeah? Washing my hands because it's dirty. Then later on I educated myself and then I beat them. All right. Anonymous says, I'm unable to stop reassuring, like literally, as you said, me not to reassure. I did not reassure. I did, but reassurance is everywhere. Like if I go out and see a girl, I ask, am I straight or not? Everywhere that is there. It doesn't matter what you ask, what comes to your brain to ask. It matters what your choice and veto is. What is it that you remember of yourself all your life? What is it that you were always interested in? What is it that you want to be interested in? What is it that is your choice? That's how you roll in life, not based on what image or idea or thought shows up in your head. Because your head is not you. You're not the brain, and brain is not you. So why the hell would you ever listen to what shows up here? That's brain's thought. That's brain's question. I don't have that question. I know who I am. I know what I like. I know my choices. I know my vetoes and my choices. I know how I like my life wants to be. I know what I am interested in and what my values are. And they're sacred and I protect my values. That's it. The rest of it is thoughts. I'm not supposed to be running after my thoughts. My thoughts are supposed to be lined up and I choose and select what is relevant, what is not, based on the values that I hold dear and sacred in my life. Then you train your brain based on your selections of the thoughts and deselecting the things that are just nonsense to you. Yeah, don't have to ask those questions. Live with uncertainty, even though you think I need assurance. No, you don't need it. What's the assurance? Who's giving that assurance? Who's giving the question? Who is giving the question? It's not you, because obviously you're suffering from it. You say, I don't like it. So that's not you who gives the question. Anything that you have control on is you. You say, I have no control to stop these thoughts. Anything that you don't have control on is not you. And if it's not you, why do you worry about it? It's no different than people outside in the streets saying shit, saying things, saying ideas, opinions, political opinions, lifestyle opinions, sports opinions that you don't agree, that you don't. What do? It's there. You're not responsible for it. It's theirs. Yeah? So you're not in control. You're not in control of what they say. You're not in control of what they do. What you're not in control of saying or doing is not you. Brain too. You don't like these thoughts. You want to stop them, but you can't stop them. If it was you, you could stop them. Because you say, I started and I stop it. That's your thought. When I go into my consciousness and figure out, get some kind of information out of my consciousness, and then make a thought and make a design a product or design a business or whatever it is, and then I say, okay, it's enough. I want to go play chess, or I want to go play soccer, or I want to go do some other things. I started a thought, I stopped the thought. That's my thought. But a thought shows up without you knowing, without you wanting it to show up. You didn't start. That's not you. You have a hard time stopping it because it's constantly there. Then that's not you. It's like it's other people talking. Yeah. So when it's like other people talking, you have no control on what other people talking, because you know it's not you, because you have no control on stopping them or encouraging them. Same thing here. When you cannot control your thoughts, and when they show up without you wanting them to show up, then obviously, and when you can't get rid of them, then you're not in control. What you're not control is not you. It's not your instigation. Hmm? Does it make sense to you? So on that note, you realize that these thoughts are thoughts and you're not responsible for them. So just like other people utter things, you pass by, you ignore them. What is not in your control, you ignore it, then you go. And thoughts are not in our control, they show up. I can't follow every thought and try to figure them out, what they are, what they mean. They should have a meaning, or they have some kind of a message for me. No. So maybe I should speak softer because it's late here and I don't want my neighbor be knocking on the wall. So, all right. Anyhow, soon we should stop it anyhow because it's been over an hour. You guys know that I have a consulting business. You can go on my site, make an appointment. And if there's something concerning you that, because in here I can only talk for a few minutes, but if it's something concerns you and you want to have a one-on-one discussion with me, you can make an appointment and then we'll set up a time and then we'll explore what's concerning you one-on-one on Skype. So, and Anonymous, I have many videos on the channel about reassurance, why you don't need assurance. There is one that actually is why you don't need assurance. Let me see if I can find it here. All right. Assurances. There it is. Why we do not need assurance when dealing with OCD. There we go. When dealing with OCD subsets, HOCD, etc. All right. There is the link for you. Okay, let's see if we can answer any other question and we should wrap it up. Zain says, thank you very much for your advice and service. I just had a curiosity that we did talk about that. And Truly says, dear Marian, thank you so much for your answer. You just missed the second part of my text. Many thanks. You're quite welcome. Did I? I'm Armenian to, the second part? Could you please explain? No, I didn't miss the second part. I got it. I think. Aga says, hi, Meran. What do you think of relationships with an age gap? I'm 28. My male friend is 23. I am pretty sure we both have feelings for each other, but our age gap is stopping us from dating. First of all, I need to know your age and where you're tuning in from, your gender, age, and where you're tuning in from, please. Then I'll get back to you. Yuki Tui says, hello, sir. Hello, Yuki. And there's no credentials, age, gender, where you tuning in from. These are the three little things that I want before I can answer anyone. Anyone who says hello, just include age, gender, where you tuning in from. Rachel Lucas says, I don't know what that means. Just a few words that I can't understand them. And Resha Baraham says, thank you. Your excitement when you talk about OCD charges me up to keep pushing, or in a sense, to relax and let go of the thoughts. Yeah, because you think thoughts are entities. Thoughts are non-existence. You give them existence by paying attention to them. Just don't. You pay enough no attention to them. I mean, you don't pay enough. You don't pay attention to them enough number of times. They will not have a reason to show up. They will dissipate. Um, Fahim Nazari says, hi, Miran. I live in Northern Virginia. I'm 30 years old and I work as a network engineer for a bank. Network engineer for a bank. You mean in the computer end of it? So, is that what you mean by network engineer? I have been following you for a couple of years now, and it's always a joy to see you on here helping others. I always wondered, for as long as I can remember, you have given great advice to people, but you never talk about your relationship status. Are you currently speaking to someone? Speaking to someone? Well, I, I I meet people, but at the moment, I don't have I'm not in a relationship, but there are women who I like and respect and maybe walk at the beach or talk, but no relationship. Says, by the way, I come across your channel a couple of years ago when I was going through a rough breakup. I was with this woman for 10 years and she ended up getting with someone else. Thanks to you, I managed to pull myself out of that situation and work on myself. It's been about 4 years now, and I'm living comfortably, and I have options with women. Excellent. Once I confused on my, Once I focused on my purpose, the woman started to chase me. There we go. That's my boy. Thank you for sharing that. I appreciate that. And I'm delighted that the videos of my programs have been helpful to you. I'm delighted that you've used them to make yourself wiser and more educated about yourself and to know how your psyche works rather than being bamboozled by the events of life, and have more confidence in yourself because of your more knowledge about your own psyche and the movement of the psyche, and to know the role of all these thoughts in how you feel. So change your thoughts, change your feelings, and seems like you're on top of it all. Thank you for sharing that. I appreciate it, and I'm delighted to hear that. Vita, Vita, you haven't been here for a long time, have you? Says, amazing how your channel is growing. I'm here with you since the beginning. You're the best. Oh, I love you too. And thank you very much for sharing that wonderful sentence. But remind me your age, gender, and where you're tuning in from, if you will, Vita. But I do remember, I think originally, if I'm not mistaken, Did you come from Facebook end of it, or was it always YouTube subscriber? AGA says, I'm Polish, I'm woman, 28. My friend is also Polish, male, 23. Ah, you know, um, I don't know what you call you. Is AGA is your name, or you see, it is you that I'm worried about, not him. He's 23 years old. To him at that age, he's going to treat you like a goddess. You're 28 years old, you're a full woman. To him, you're a mystery, you're God, because you give him a certain image of complete man at age 23. A 28-year-old woman, to him, is why he feels so amazing about himself, because he's going out with an older woman who is young and beautiful and vibrant, but still older than him. And that makes him feel special. That makes him feel overly excited and very sexually charged. Because there's a certain thing in young men when we're at that age and a little bit older woman pays attention to us, and we're dying to be getting that image of I'm a full-fledged man and women take me seriously. And when an older woman gets interested in that young man, the young man feels, I have arrived because a real woman wants me. That makes me a real man. That's the level of understanding of how to become a man at that age. It's not true, of course. It doesn't matter what woman, what age. Mm, you know, boys become men and they should feel great about their own way of treating women and accomplishment and so on. But this is how it works at one tangent with him. So I'm not worried about him leaving you so soon, at least not until you're 40 years old, if at all. But I'm worried about him, you leaving him. Because you, as a woman, at this age, you may find him very exciting, and because he pays so much attention to you, probably treats you as a goddess. But you ultimately will want somebody to take charge, regardless of how independent you are and how your mentality is, but you would want your man to take charge. And he would somehow, sometimes would feel inferior because he wouldn't feel he has the position to call the shots, because you'll always hold it on his head that you're older than him. You're wiser, more experienced. So he'll always be in your shadow. And because of that, he won't be able to have that character that he naturally has and would have for a girl his own age, because you're older than him. So he would not be able to show his real take charge abilities and characteristics when it's in relation to you. And you're going to get tired of that. And you're going to find that an unwelcome trait in your man. And you're going to leave him. And he's going to be hurt. Um, that's the immediate problem, like within the next 5, 6 years or 10 maximum. Not 10. Within the next 3, 4 years, you might leave him. And he's going to be devastated because you're still young and beautiful at that age, and he would long for you, lust for you, and you leave him. It shatters him. And I don't know if he can handle it or not. I don't know his character. So that's the short of the long. Yeah. Otherwise, the age in that age between 23 and 28, you're both young. So there's 3, 40. Yeah. In the older age, when you are like reaching 40, he'd be 33. He could be tempted here and there. And then that would not look so favorable towards you. And you put so much effort and investment in that life. And then for no reason, for his ego or for his thinking that, oh, you know, I can show my manhood to someone else because I would be older than them and I would be able to exercise my masculinity. But with my girlfriend, I'm shy because she's older than me. And you, being older, you will get used to dominate him, telling him things. And at that age, he may actually leave the fort. And then you might get hurt because of all that effort and investment. So I don't know. Depends on his character, your character, and what the how you guys treat each other. But I would think just have your fun with him and let him also enjoy the fun. Be together for a couple of years and don't make it longer than a couple of years. Because at age 30, you're still very young and you have options. And at age 25, he'll recover. Not a problem. And yeah, so not a long term plan, but for a couple of years, enjoy each other and see where it goes, how it goes. But generally, it's a bit thin ice as the time passes. All right, now the real answer is there. uh, I see. Um, Pirlo says, was she damaged good from the beginning? Well, in her opinion, she's not damaged good. In her opinion, she has certain standards and expectations, and it's been reinforced by her parents, or supposedly they want another conservative family so they can say, see, we are still within our own circle. You know. So, in her opinion, she was not a damaged good. In your opinion, obviously, yeah, she was. And now, for whatever reason, you don't need to know the reason. Just stop looking for reason. Look at the actuality. I mean, look, they put a food in front of you in a restaurant and you eat it and you get food poisoning. Is it really important right now who put this bad quality of meat or whatever in this food? Or is it important to deal with that, what is really happening, that you're throwing up and you're having problems and, salmonella or whatever the hell it was that's causing, you know, the vomiting and all that? You got to take care of yourself, right? So the fact is that the food is not healthy. Now, how it became unhealthy, how long has it not been in the fridge, what ingredients, who bought the ingredients, all irrelevant. The fact is, what are you going to do? The food is not healthy, meaning you got to walk away from it. So, this girl, how it happened, where it happened, who put it in her head, if it's her own fault or is somebody, it doesn't matter. This is the decision she has made, and this is how she's treating you and behaving, and that is not in line with your expectations and standards. Therefore, adios, amigos. Don't hang around just because you get certain pleasure or you're used to some certain kind of a intimacy. It's just don't. That's not equal to the value of your life and what you want to build. that pleasure. So be a little tough. Think about yourself. You were there, you were available, she changed, and therefore, adios, amigos. Fahim Nazari says, thanks, Miran, for your response. When do you plan on releasing another book? I loved Me, My Psyche, and I'm delighted you like it. The book helped me significantly. I'm delighted. I'm delighted. Great to hear that. I don't know. It's right now, I'm trying to expand this channel, and this channel is moving like a snail. Somehow we don't get recognized by YouTube. Not too many people see us. From the ones who see us and finds us and come and enjoy the channel, they never leave us or hardly, and we grow a little bit, but we are hardly visible. Uh, People don't find us easily. They mostly find us accidentally. That means we're not being promoted for whatever reason. God knows. Maybe something I don't do right. Maybe something I don't know how to do. Maybe my tags, but the tags are even better than the tags of some of the very successful channels, which not in their um, content, but in their number of subscribers. Somehow they have the way to, I don't know, be in line with the algorithm of YouTube. We're not. Or maybe we're just simply, I don't know, what is it called? Uh, Shadow band or something? I don't know. Somebody suggested that. And so, but anyhow, I'm delighted, Fahim, that you've enjoyed the channel, and thank you for sharing that. I appreciate that. David Brooks says, hi, my name is David, and I'm from London. Thank you for your channel and your amazing wisdom. You make so much sense in your have given me, and I guess you have given me so much clarity and made me focus on myself. Delighted to hear that, David. Thank you for sharing that. I appreciate that. And Aparajita Roy says, your words completely resonate with my life. Lots of love from India. Lots of love from me here to India, to you and India. And thank you for sharing that. And I'm delighted that the channel has been helpful to you. Strider 50 says, what we do when the thought always in our mind. Strider, I need to know a bunch of things from you before I can answer anything. And gender, age, where you're tuning in from. These are the basic protocols that I expect to know a little bit about you. And at the same time, this is a big question, and I have so many videos on that topic. What is thought? What is thinking? And how to stop thoughts and these sort of things. You just search them. Put the word thought in the search engine of my channel, thought or thinking, or both of them, and different searches in my channel, and you'll see what options you have. Red Bull says, man, I remember your videos on YouTube were my first psychological support I've got after my disastrous divorce 7 years ago. Thank you. You're quite welcome. And thank you for the heart. And I'm delighted that the channel has been helpful to you. So, with all these compliments and the and the satisfied customers, clients, subscribers. Where the hell are these subscribers? I mean, why is it that we're not growing by the millions? I mean, many people tell me you should have 1 or 2 million subscribers, and I agree with that person, but I don't have it. I don't know what is it that we don't look. As good as the live streams, maybe you say it is, but we have 15 people here. Why is it that nobody else sees us? That's a question. Maybe something in the title, something wrong. I mean, 15 people for live stream is kind of unlikely for topics that we're talking about, relationships, The psyche, thoughts, consciousness, fear, desire, ego, mechanical process, order in life, routine of life, all these topics, plus OCD and HOCD and so on, substance of OCD. There's lots of research and lots of information here. So why is it that it's such a common problem among most people? We have 15 people here. If somebody can help me to figure that out, we can make this channel go crazy because we do have good content. I understand that. And over 3,000 videos. Anyhow, let's go on with AGA says, thank you so much for all your words. They spoke straight to my heart. You pronounced my name correctly the first time. Aga? Is it correct? Aga? And Aga is a nickname coming from my full name, Agnieszka. Agnieszka. Let me see. Yeah, Agnieszka. Agnes. Oh, Agnes. Oh, I see. Agnieszka. What a beautiful name. How you guys pronounce it is very interesting. But that's Agnes. Translation is Agnes, yeah? And she says, thank you. You're quite welcome, dear. The Mr. Rifle is here. Mr. Rifle says, at least you are not a cheating apologist like most of the bigger channels or like Esther Pearl. Who's that? Cheating apologist. What does that mean, Mr. Airfall? Cheating apologist on what? About who? And who is Esther Perel? Strider 50 says, I have a great thoughts to do a great thing, but I didn't start doing it because I have a shameful, I don't want to remember how I was feeling when I start. You have a great channel and you deserve more than million. Oh, thank you very much, Strider. You just won yourself a cup of tea. Hmm. I don't understand what you mean because I have a shameful. What's shameful? Why? Why would you be shameful at all? And Strider says, I guess you need to learn how to edit and montage your videos. Yeah, I don't produce entertaining or very artistic videos, that's for sure. I basically talk. And I thought the topics that are important to people is the content of the topic. I mean, rather than entertainment, but I guess entertainment is the way to go. But I'm sorry, I won't be able to do that. The maximum edit I do is what I do. I edit some portion of these questions and answers and turn them into one video. But when I got the chance and time, and I make the videos with my good camera and not from the live streams, and they're good quality. But I got to get around to it. I've got so many done that because I don't have enough numbers, somehow sometimes I'm not that encouraged to spend more time on it because I say obviously it's not needed. People are not gathering up and lining up because if I see, let's say, 100,000 subscribers, then obviously it will be motivating to do more stuff, spend more time. And due to number of subscribers, there would be more viewers and there would be more finances. So there would be more time allocated to what I want to accomplish and achieve here. But it's not happening. So I guess I got to go as a snail does until we get the numbers and then justifies more time and then more encouragement. Um, Aga says, Agnieszka says, beautiful again the first time. Okay, good. Good. Polish names, Russian names, they have certain kind of a amazing characteristics when you pronounce them, and they're very interesting. Certain mystery to the name for us who haven't heard it that many. Yuki Tui says, I'm supporting your channel as my way of thanking you. Thank you. Thank you very much for your support and participating in our live stream. I appreciate that. Red Bull says, as far as I know, with more likes and shares, you have the higher probability. YouTube will recommend your channel to lots of users. So, constantly reminding your subscriber to like and share could help. Yeah, you're right, Red Bull. And I do. I often ask them, please click on the like and please share the videos you like on your social media and talk about it in the chat rooms and wherever it is that you have a chance to promote the channel. That's probably the least or the most I would expect from you guys if you have benefited from this channel. It would be great to help it to grow. Without you guys, this cannot grow. I cannot make it go any faster than this because this is the style of this channel, and whatever you want to call it, that's as much as I can be artistic about it. I focus on the content. I give you guys as good a content as I can, but I would hope that you guys will take it in your hand and actually promote the channel the way you can. However it is, you come up with ideas, let me know, and so on and so forth. Talk it in your share it on your social media. So that's up to you guys. Otherwise, it will just linger there. um Mr. Erfeld says, Esther Perel is a intelligentsia therapist and life coach, Belgian, often featured by TED Talks. Cheating apologists are people who present cheating as something not as bad. Oh, okay. They were just self-exploring. I see. They didn't mean to hurt anyone. Oh, I see. Let's not use words like victims and cheaters. Also, I'm 27 male, Chichia. Ah, thank you very much for that. Appreciate that. Anwesha says, hey, I just realized you missed my very first question. Female 29 India. Why do some intrusive thoughts don't feel intrusive or random? They feel like I actually thought of it. Well, you have a hard time since most of your life maybe you didn't have intrusive thoughts or OCD. So now when something shows up in your head, you haven't considered and understood and programmed it in your head that the brain is separate from you. You consider the brain as you. You consider the brain a very important part of you, which it is, but not when it's malfunction. If you understand the separation between brain and you, then you will not take what brain puts out as if it was something that you thought of. Well, when you don't focus on the separation of the brain, you have not really clearly made that clear to yourself and understood that the brain is not you. You're not the brain. Therefore, whatever shows up, by default, you think you thought of it because you haven't understood that you're not the brain. Brain is not you. Brain is an independent system. You see, you use the apparatus of the brain and you pick up something from your consciousness, use the apparatus of the brain, you make thoughts with it to calculate something, figure out something, learn something, design something, accomplish something. These are your thoughts. Purposely, you start them and you stop them. But the brain itself also uses its own apparatus and makes thoughts. not knowing what it does, not knowing your values, not consulting with you that, hey, I want to use these thoughts. Is it within your values or not? It doesn't consult with you. It doesn't know what your values is. You just does it. But because you use the brain to create some kind of a intelligent um, calculations or summation, you think whatever shows up in the head is merit. It's got merits and it's got credibility, and you follow it as if it is by default something that you actually wanted to be there. But you got to focus on understanding that there are aspects of you and the mind that the brain cannot even reach. And I have proven that through the report that Dr. Ignar put together a video. From that video, I made my video using his research in regards to experiments that Dr. Speary, Dr. Penfield, Dr. Owen, and Dr. Leibet did, which are brilliant Nobel Prize quality echelon of research. And through this video, which is long, about 45 minutes, but you will see clearly that you're not the brain and brain is not you. And there's a separation between brain and you. It's a very good video. I suggest and recommend it to anyone and everyone to watch it. In fact, I'm going to put the link right here. For everyone who hasn't watched this, please do watch it. Lots of work went into it, lots of research went into it, and it's worth your attention. And it will give you enough information to know that you are actually not responsible for anything that comes out, because the brain is not you, you're not the brain, and it's not interchangeable. Says, why do intrusive thoughts don't feel intrusive or run? Yeah, okay. And they feel like, okay. And they bring feelings and sensations along. Yeah, of course. They bring feelings because thought brings a reaction in the body. Thought has a meaning, and that meaning by default creates a reaction. Imagine right now if I tell you to focus, close your eyes and focus. You're in France. You're in a vineyard. It's out of season though. The guide with the tour you've gone, bunch of people, you're in the vineyard, sunny day, but it's out of season. All the grapes are green, hard, and sour. Sour like you've never tasted them before. And everybody tries to see what that green grape tastes like when it's out of season, not ripe yet. They put it in their mouth, it's hard and small, and you clench on it, and it's just so sour that you can't even stand it any longer. Holy macaroni. And then just to top it off, they give you pieces of lemon and lime that is cut and ready in the buckets, and everyone takes one and you squeeze it in your mouth. You see, right now you're salivating, but there is no lemon, there is no sour grape. The thought makes your body react, but there is nothing here actual, because the brain doesn't understand the difference between virtuality and actuality. To the brain doesn't make any difference. So it believes that virtuality is real, and it has a power over the body to command it that it's real, and the body reacts to it, but it is you who knows it's not real, and that's awareness. There's a difference between you're the intellect, you're the awareness. Brain is a mechanical machine that makes, through neurons and its material process, makes thoughts. But to itself, it has no understanding that this is virtual. So when a thought shows up, it makes the body react to the thought. So the body is reacting because there's a memory to the thought of grape, sour grape. And there are many things that the body doesn't have a memory of it, but the brain, through the thought, makes the body react to it, even though the body is not involved in making that decision and you're not involved. So, again, these are long discussions that perhaps, if you like, you can go on my site, make an appointment, and we'll discuss it further. Otherwise, there are videos that I've made. You can search through them and watch the videos, and that would be another convenient way. Strider says, why our brain will do it. I mean, thinking about the intrusive thoughts. Because I mentioned before, there are many reasons. There are malfunction in the signaling system of the brain. That's one. Anxiety and role of amygdala and wanting to protect your values to brings more alertness about something that you're not, so you can make sure that it will not trouble you or not become part of your life. So again, because of your values, that's important to you, so amygdala creates more alertness and for you, and that is another reason that it's in the brain keeps manufacturing it, because it's trying to alert you, but it doesn't know how, so it just overdoes it. The other is the fact that it's trying to create business and occupation for itself, so it can find security in the business, in creating uh, thoughts and creating topics that gets a rise out of you, and you interfere, interact with the thoughts, with the brain, and through that interaction, exchange of energy and debating and all that, the brain finds business, occupation, and then in that occupation, it feels secure. And of course, the role of in midbrain basal ganglia, striatum, and in the caudate nucleus, the lever, automatic lever that is supposed to shut down the intrusive thoughts. Why? Since they are not in line with your values, then it's aware of your values and your what's sacred to you. And if intrusive thoughts shows up, which is not in line with your values, caudate nucleus is supposed to automatically shut it off. But once it malfunctions, it doesn't do its job. The thoughts hover. They don't go away. When the prefrontal cortex creates such a idea or thought, and caudate nucleus is malfunctioning, does not shut it off, because everybody on earth has intrusive thoughts. We have 80, 90,000 thoughts a day, and most of them are intrusive and irrelevant. But caudate nucleus shuts down the intrusive ones because it's not in line with your values. But when it malfunctions, it doesn't shut it up. So that intrusive thoughts hovers. And because it hovers, and you don't know about the malfunction of the signal system, you say, since it's not going away, it must mean something. That must have a message, a mandate. Oh my God. And then you take that seriously because it's not dissipating. Instead of thinking, what I cannot stop and what I cannot dissipate means it's not me. It's not in my control. What's not in my control, why should I worry about it? But you think because it's in the screen of your head and the head is mounted and that is mounted on top of your body, then it must be you and it must mean something. You forget that the brain is not infallible. It can break down. I mean, your intestine and your other parts of the body can also get sick or break down. Why not the brain? That's why there's so many scientific research and psychological research on the movement and the behavior of the brain. And that means it breaks down more than the other parts. But when you don't pay attention to actual reasons, you believe what shows up in your brain and then you react to it and the body reacts to it and then you go nuts. All right. Guys, I need to stop this because we have many participants, but at the same time, or maybe we have a few more questions. Maybe I can catch them up as well, too. Spider says, is there any difference between OCD and negative thoughts? Yes, of course. I mean, maybe it's not a OCD, it's just bad thoughts. Yeah, bad thoughts. The brain makes all kinds of thoughts. You're supposed to be judging the brain's thought, not following the brain's thoughts. You're supposed to see whatever that comes to the screen of your head. if it's of any merit, if it's of any interest, if it's of any use to you. And when it's not, just ignore it. Just don't pay attention to it, because it's just a bad thought. But you're not supposed to get stuck with it just because a bad thought showed up. Now you got to find out why it showed up. That's where the rabbit hole is. I don't care why. I care that it's irrelevant to me. Therefore, I ignore it. That's all. You understand? This is a machine that makes up thoughts, and many of them are garbage. So don't respect it because it's your brain. Oh my goodness, brain is smart. No, it's not smart. It's the dumbest part of your body. The awareness and intellect is not in the brain. In fact, the search that Dr. Penfield from Montreal did in 1960s or 1970s, was it? They could localize many parts. That, for example, the part of the brain that they stimulate and the patient's hand comes up, or a sound is made, or they can stimulate the occipital, and then maybe certain kind of light. They recognize that eyes can see certain kind of light because it's stimulated from here, not because light's coming through. But they couldn't localize an intellect center, a consciousness center. They couldn't localize a math center. They couldn't localize a political center. They couldn't. So there is no intellect center in the brain, because the brain is not intellect, and the intellect doesn't have a localizing part. It cannot be localized. There's no such a center. So if you understand these, then you will know that brain is not smart, but you've been duped to think it is. So if something shows up there, you think, oh, it must have a certain purpose. No, it doesn't. It just means it's malfunctioning. It's a bad thought. So yeah. And then we have Anwisha says, yes, exactly. I started to salivate the more I imagined it vividly. I could even feel the juice of the grape come out. Yeah. And hear the crush when you bite into it. Yes, there you go. And that's what the body reacts to. Not that it's actually there is an actual grape or sour grape or something in your mouth. This goes on with all kinds of OCDs, subsets of OCDs. And pedophile OCD, HOCD, people get bamboozled and think, oh, it means something about me. No, it's just a thought and it's got nothing to do with you. All right. Milky Rock says, but I'm not scared because maybe says, but I'm not scared for some reason either. Maybe because of medication I'm using. I'm sorry, Milky. I guess it must have been another question that I missed here. But we have a, and so Milky is sending a 449 pound, or I think it's pound, not euro, super chat, and thank you for that. But there must be some other part of your question, Milky. Let me see if I've missed it, maybe. I don't see any question here to help me to understand your question down there. So let me read that again, maybe. It says, but I'm not scared for some reason either. Scared of what? What question are you referring to? What part of our discussion are you referring to? It says, but I'm not scared for some reason either. Maybe because of the medication I'm using. Okay, I don't know what medication you're using, and I'm not a psychologist or a doctor to know what that medication does. So I need to see if I can understand the question, so I maybe make a comment on it. Maybe I answer another question before. Maybe you can add some information on that, on your question. Help me out. The spider says, then the solution is to make goals and focus and think about it. The solution is to focus on your life Ignore the thoughts that are irrelevant to you. Do not try to data hunt the thought. Why is it here? What does it mean? Where did it come from? Why me? And none of that stuff. And don't try to perceive it or interpret it. Just understand, observe the thought. The thought showed up. I don't like it. That's the end of it. I go on. Don't try to, why is it here? What does it mean? What is it delivering? What's the interpretation of it? What does it have to do with it? Just leave it. Do not perceive the thought. Just observe the thought. The thought showed up. You become you take notice of it. If you do, then you see, well, that's irrelevant. It's not interesting to me. It's not in line with my values. And then you ignore it, observe, and go on. Not observe, but now let's see, let's perceive it, let's interpret it. Because thoughts are the roots of all problems. If you ignore the thoughts by recognizing the quality of the thought that is not interesting you, that's the end of it. But the problem is when you go into it trying to figure, where does the thought come from? Why is it here? Who cares? Who gives a shit? Thoughts are like farts, scientifically speaking. You don't go and say, oh, why did it sound like that? What was the tone of it? What was the notation of it? Or what kind of a key was that in? Or why did it smell like this? What did I eat? What? You just, okay, then whatever. You get away from it. Same thing. Thoughts show up. It's irrelevant. You get away from it. Milky, I don't see another information to help me out to understand your question, to make a comment of it. And I hate not to answer it, especially that you have supported the channel, and I like to see what I can understand of it. But there is no explanation. All right, guys, I hang around for a few minutes. Hopefully Milky Rocks will explain a little bit about that question. If not, then we'll just wrap it up. And don't forget to like if you enjoyed the discussion tonight. And again, don't forget to share the videos on your social media and talk about it in the chat rooms and promote the channel any way, which way you can. And I'd appreciate it. Strider says, thanks for your time. My pleasure, and thanks for being here. We will have another live stream tomorrow, Vancouver time, at 1 p.m., if not earlier, depending on when I wake up. And so I hope that you guys will share the videos and share the opportunity for the live stream on your social media, or talk about it, or remember to come back and maybe bring a friend and help the channel to get exposure. Well, I haven't seen anything from Milky Rocks, and so I guess we will be hopeful that she'll join us, or he or she will join us next time and elaborate on her question or his question, and we'll address it then. Then Mr. Erifel says, good night, Mehran. Looking forward to the next stream. And thank you very much, Mr. Erifel. I appreciate that. And thank you for being here tonight. Thank you all for being here. I love you all. Thank you very much for being here, giving me the opportunity to share a thing or two with you. I look forward to our next stream as well, tomorrow at 1 p.m. Vancouver time. In the meantime, be good to yourself and to the others. I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now. Subscribe on my channel, visit my channel, and go through the videos that you might be interested in. Mind@seekstruth.com is making it one step away to talk to me one-on-one on Skype and discuss what concerning you. I'll talk to you soon. But we too, like the iceberg, have 1,000 times bigger powers that is not visible, and we must. Why? Is it something we're rambling on and I expect you to accept it? Or is there actually another power within us? Would you come and help me out? Okay. What I want you to do is put your hands underneath my arms and just lift me up. There we go. Okay, now, that's my physical part, right? Same thing. Again, with that. Just want to see if there's any difference. Go ahead. Now, go ahead. Now, this, go ahead, when you're ready.
Go ahead.
So you see, this is different than what he was doing, and I'm not really doing anything. You convinced?
Yeah.
So are you guys convinced that there is something other than, thank you. Thank you very much.